Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my pin curling tutorial with the pin curl sculpture tool. The tools that I have for the brush out today are my Denman 7-row styling brush, a comb, some pomade, duckbill clips for sectioning, and some hairspray. Well, I slept in the pin curls overnight in my slumber net with a additional scarf on top of that for comfort. In the middle of the night, I did wake up and I had to take out the ones on the side. If something is uncomfortable, just take it out and worry about it later. As long as the curls kind of stayed tucked into the net, they didn't really fall. So this morning when I got up, I did reset these curls and kind of left them in for a little while I got ready. A question that people ask me all the time is, how do you sleep with these prongs in your head? And it is not the best thing in the world. I don't do this as often just because it isn't very comfortable. But if you're able to set your hair early in the morning and maybe have it dry by like 5 o'clock, that's a much better way of doing this. When I was in lockdown and wasn't working, I was able to set my hair in the morning and let it dry over the course of a day. Or I would re-roll my hair this method when I already had a curl and set it with the pin curl clips just during the day. You can try bobby pins if you find that they're more comfortable, which I have done that in the past. But lately I haven't really been doing this method. I've just been using my rollers because my hair is longer. It takes less time to use rollers. But there is something that is so satisfying about having pin curls. So if you can get past the technique and how long it takes and the discomfort, you can have a very rewarding experience. Some of the benefits that you will find when you pin curl your hair compared to using rollers is that there are a lot more different techniques you can utilize, and I feel like you are able to control the hair a little bit more. With rollers, I feel like they're kind of more limiting, and I tend to have more mistakes with them. Pieces coming out, or kinks, weird shapes, or hair just going in the direction I didn't want it to. Maybe it's because I haven't been using rollers that long, and I'm sure if I kind of just stuck with one fail-proof method, maybe I wouldn't have those experiences. But I think with pin curling too, sometimes it's like really obvious when you have to fix something. Like when you set a pin curl, you can tell right away, oh, that's not gonna turn out, I should redo that. Where with rollers, I feel like sometimes I give myself the benefit of the doubt. I don't fix things when I should. Pin curls also take less time to dry. I think they yield more authentic results. Be careful if this doesn't happen if you're taking these clips out. So definitely pat through with your fingers and make sure that you've gotten all those metal prongs out before you start combing your hair. Sometimes they can get hidden, like this one. But they are nicely dried. There's no dampness at all. Sometimes with rollers, I suffer with some residual dampness. So I think I'm gonna leave the top in for now. The hair is so curly, we're gonna wanna finger comb it before we start brushing it. Well, say goodbye.
We can start that brush out process at the bottom, and I'm using my Denman 7-row styling brush.
Because it's so curly, you wanna take extra care and really start from the bottom and work your way up. You don't want to start up here and just like yank your hair out. And I cannot recommend this brush to you enough. These long plastic bristles just kind of cut the hair like a knife through butter. And I really don't feel like it pulls my hair out. it will cut the time it takes to brush your hair out in half.
We can start the brush out process on this side and work our way around the back, all the way over to the other side.
And I know it looks a little crazy now, but that's okay, it should. So I like to brush it over my thumb, and that will start folding that hair under and getting that shape that we want. And once you feel like you've brushed it to a point where you can kind of get a comb through it, you can start to smooth out the top. I kind of like to drag and flick it, but I'm not pulling the comb all the way through. So the base of the hair is mostly brushed out. So now I'm going to take out the bangs. Add some more pomade.
Of course, brushing out the bang section is entirely optional. If you prefer a curlier bang style, you can pin them in place in a position that you like. But for the purposes of this brush out video, I am going to brush them out and blend them into the rest of the hair. If you're noticing some separation from your layers of pin curls, you can brush the hair in both directions to try to get it to run together smoothly. And fine-tune it with your comb.
And because they were standing pin curls, they should have a lot of volume with them already. You shouldn't really have to tease them, which is what I like about them if you want volume, and I hate teasing.
For the bang section, I'm mostly brushing the hair back and then to the side, trying to keep a little bit of that volume under the S wave. Once you see a shape that you like starting to form, you can use your rat tail comb to position it into that place.
So you can kind of blend them into the rest of the hair. So essentially what's going to happen if you keep combing and smoothing, since we only did one direction of pin curl, is you will start to get a sort of a Pageboy halo effect. So I wanted to show you the difference between less brushed out, which is still kind of curly and wavy, and then brushed out and smooth. So now that I've done this on this side, it's kind of doesn't really match this side anymore. So if there is a certain look you're going for, once you take it further, you can't really go back. So now I'm gonna have to smooth this side even more. And if you wanted a wavier brush out, you would just have to do alternating pin curl rows. So one row going this way, one row facing this way. And I want to show you in the back the difference between a more smoothed out style and a more wavy style. I started smoothing on this side, and I have to keep doing that all the way across until it starts to billow.
Essentially, I'm pulling the hair and then lifting it at where I want that wave to go.
If you don't have eons of time to spend on your brush out, you may want to wait to achieve this look until day 2, because it will happen more naturally once the curl has fallen. I tend to embrace curlier styles day 1, but I did want to see what the full effects of brushing everything out smooth would be on this pin curl set, just so you can kind of see ahead of time the life of your hairstyle. I did brush it out entirely, and I really enjoy wearing my hair like this, and it's not as easy to get it to look like this with rollers. I really have a hard time getting it to look like this with rollers, so since I went to the effort of doing the pin curl set, I thought, why not? And use your sectioning clips to add more definition. You don't have to. There's plenty of definition, I think, already.
I'm using the duckbill clips to manipulate the hair going in the direction that I want it to go, just to reinforce the waves that are already in place and to make sure everything stays neat and tidy.
I don't feel like a lot of hairspray is necessary since there is such a good hold in this style, but I am gonna do.
I recommend a medium hold hairspray because you're gonna wanna be able to do touch-ups and brush it and rewear your style multiple days.
Just a little bit. And then if we need more at the end, I'll add a very slight amount at the end.
I'm continuing that halo effect by adding more duckbill clips around the base, where that wave starts to form, and just touching up the bottom with my comb. And while the hair is setting, I picked out my fall outfit for the day. It's a cotton 1960s day dress that works perfect for a warm fall day in Florida. You can let your hair set in the clips as long as you like. I usually try to do it for at least 20 minutes or so, but I'm sure longer is better. And once the clips are out, I do a final touch up with the comb, smoothing and getting everything into position. I added just a teensy bit more of the pomade where I felt like there was a little bit of frizz, and a few more final spritzes of hairspray. And that concludes part 2 of our pin curling tutorial. I hope you enjoyed seeing the brush out process, and you'll come back for my next video soon.